And let's start. Okay. So this table shows you an overview, a high-level overview of all the additions and the functionalities that we added into Necto 16. Some of them, as you can see in the PowerPoint presentation, were already added in 15.1, which is the current version, hotfixes. But with whom of you weren't familiar with Necto 15 or with the additions, you need to be familiar with the delta from Necto 15 to Necto 16. So we divided the additions according to sections in Necto and different capabilities and different use cases. So in regard to layout and skin, we added the ribbon, who is now it's now apparent in all three sections of Necto: the administration, the workboard work area, and the homepage. To the workboard work area, we added the splitter between the workboard components, which gives a nice look and feel to the workboard and separates between components, so you can every component stands out. In the infographics, we added an ability to have actions such as drill-through actions and any other action from every graphic, not just from an infographic itself, also from every text, image, and etc. So you can perform by clicking on an image or on a text, you can drill through to a detailed dashboard, workboard, or any other portal. Lists, infographics, and microcharts that are now available, both microcharts in the grid, so you can show us spline charts, bar charts in the grid, and also as a tile infographic. In the maps, we added a capability to work with known locations database, so you'll be able to have your own locations, your own polygons and coordinates, and you don't have to be reliant on Esri. Infographics and charts are available on the map now as well. Some changes in the on-premise mechanism. Data modeling, in Necto modeling, we added a model scheduler, ability to start from every month for fiscal year, a new navigation bar, an ability to be sliced on last period, and to be able to set selection from the grid. Visual insights, which is the major addition into Necto 16, so we are now able to bubble up and see insights using Necto 19 algorithms. So one of them is an automated insight, so you can press on a button, Necto will find the insights for you. Exception-based insights, so a power user can define exceptions, and then Necto will bubble up these exceptions for the end user, or handpicked insights, where the user can just handpick a cell from a grid, and then Necto will show this cell as a visual insight and its behavior over time. Some general additions like new rendering mechanism for Excel and better and improved rendering mechanism, and some license changes because we added this new model, which is the visual insight. So this is a general overview. Let's go deeper into every section. So in the ribbon, it replaced the structure of the top of the application in three places. In the workboard work area, which is the main usability pane that was in the previous versions of Necto. We had different complaints, which were the usability or the user experience wasn't very clear. So we modified, we didn't change or add any capabilities. The capabilities are the same capabilities, but in a ribbon-like mode. So Office users, users who are accustomed to work with Excel, with Outlook, and etc., will feel comfortable with this ribbon. We brought forward a lot of functionalities that were hidden in different properties. So now it is all apparent in the homepage as well, and in the control panel, which is the three main pillars of Panorama Necto. Now, for users who are now using Necto 15, 14, and etc., these two won't be very hard to relearn, because it is quite apparent. In the workboard work area, there will be a bit of a learning curve to be accustomed from Necto 15 to the ribbon in the workboard work area, but it takes some training and etc., but not very difficult to learn. For new users, it will be a very good experience, a much easier experience than with the previous versions. We'll go deeper into that when we'll touch on that. In the hands-on show. Forward. Okay, so if we're touching the ribbon again, it brought forward the most common properties that we were working on before, like percent off, chart design, and actions. So for people that worked on Necto 15 and had some problems teaching the users or doing stuff, and so like adding percents, designing the chart, performing actions. So we brought forward these common actions to the ribbon, so it will be much easier to implement and work with these and design. Now it replaces the component header, so there won't be a header for the component anymore. So the view component or text component and any other component, there won't be a header anymore. And so instead of the header, we'll have this ribbon. The ribbon is sensitive, so every click that you click on a component will bring you to the section that you clicked on. So for instance, if you're clicking on a view, Necto will focus and will show you the ribbon capabilities overview, and so on and so forth. Long click on a component will focus the ribbon on the component details in the ribbon. It can be pinned and unpinned, and it is of course can be customized like in the previous version. So you can hide or show any ribbon buttons that you would like to work with. The task pane behavior improved. It doesn't push the dashboard to the left unless it's pinned. And again, this stuff will be shown in the hands-on overview. A very important note that I haven't mentioned is that it replaces the maximize. The maximize, which was a problematic point for many end users, that was confusing end users when to maximize, what to do with the maximize. So there is no need for maximize anymore. Everything is done, both the exceptions, the formulas, and all of these analytical advanced capabilities are done without the need to maximize the view component. In the workboard area, we added a splitter between components. It is by default splits and shows a gray default. This is the default color split between the components. It can be, of course, removed. It can be resized, so it will be a thinner splitter or a wider splitter between the components, and we will show that as well. And we are moving forward to the actions. So until Necto 16, we were able to perform actions, drill-through actions, for instance, from an entire component, infographic component, not just from any text or image. And this is a requirement that we got from many power users and users to be able to create a capability for the end user to press on an image, for instance, or on the text, and then, for instance, move to another workboard or perform a drill-through action and open a detailed report. So now you are able to do that for every image or text or other graphic. You'll have these three properties added to the infographic properties. The action, there is only one action per component, of course. The contents, a tooltip if we want to add a tooltip, and this important property, execute action when clicked. So by default, it is on no. So you will have to press on this action and then execute the drill-through capability that you defined. If you would like to give the user the capability to press on a graphic and then immediately, automatically perform the action, you will have to change it to yes, and then on every click, on the click, you will perform the action. List infographics, so now it will be defined in the IG properties. It can be broken down into three parts. You can now break down the infographic component into a header, a footer, and a middle, so this is very good for printing. And it will display a list of members, like a table that you will choose in the infographic design. So if you would like to show all the members of a certain geography dimension, and you will want to show them as a list without now adding many text components, you can do that with this list capability. So this is again very good for printing, and it is of course dynamic. So if today you have 10 members, tomorrow you have 20, the list of course will adjust accordingly. Microcharts. It is very useful using in a grid to show trends. So you can add a bar or a line chart, a vertical or a horizontal, and to show this chart like in Excel inside of a cell of a grid. So you can show trends of different members and cell coordinates. And the user will have a dialog to define the periods or members that will be shown in this microchart. So again, this is something that is defined in the infographics, and you can add that to your grid or to your just to your canvas in the dashboard. You will see nice charts over there. The map. Moving forward to the map, so we added the capability to both show different pie or bar charts to the map. So you can see an example in this PowerPoint presentation to represent multiple members or members and their spread in different territories of your geography. And you can also show infographics on the map. So if you added an infographic to the grid, because our maps, the Necto maps, just to remind you, Necto maps are working with a grid. So if you are adding an infographic to a grid, you will be able to add a map, and this map can show the infographics that you added to the grid that works with the map. So that's in regard to that. Modeling scheduler, okay? So in the modeling, just to give you a quick background on that, the Necto model currently works in the following, currently until Necto 16 works in the following way. You've got a model, and a Necto model, doesn't matter if it was defined on a flat file like Excel or CSV, or in a database like SQL, Oracle, and etc. So you define a model, and the model will be updated, published, when a user either will do it manually. So when a user will go to this model, press on publish, then it will be deployed and published. Or when a warbird on top of this model was opened for the first time, and then this model will be published. So this is a mechanism that was working in Necto 15, 14, and 12. Now we added a more advanced capability to schedule the refresh or the deployment of a model according to a time interval very similar to the notifier in Necto. So the administrator of Necto can, for every model, schedule a daily, weekly, or a monthly publish, and according to the start date and the end date. So every day, this model or every model will be published once. So it will improve performance immensely, because no need for many publishing of models according to every warbird opening. So this model will be published once, and it will be in memory, and then every user will enjoy of this model published, and no need for republishing the model every time interval. So that's again in addition to the modeling. Another capability that we want to show is analytics and navigation. So we added in the warbird work area the ability to set up a default date slicing. So many power users and users would like their warbird or report to be opened on the last day or the last month or any other last period according to their analysis. So now, instead of writing MDX queries, syntax, and etc., you have a nice menu picker. You can choose last day, last month, last quarter, and so on. And then you will set it up, you will save, and then your warbird will be always opened on the last period that you've chosen. Sets creation. Now we have we brought it more forward, so a user can pick a few members or one member and create from that a set for himself. And we added a navigation bar. So in addition to the ribbon, so at the bottom of the ribbon or on the right side of the warbird, we can now have all the parameters, all the sliders and the slicers apparent on this navigation bar. So we are bringing forward the slicing and navigation, so it will be very user-friendly, and the user can work with that to slice and dice his components. Just a bit regarding the general additions, the license was updated. So there is a new license now with the Visual Insights edition. And we improved the rendering mechanism, so the notifications and the export to Excel and PDF works in a better mode without blurry signs. It inherits all the properties from the wallboard, and that is regarding to that. Another addition that we added to the rendering mechanism, you can now embed an image in the notifier. Just to remind you, what is a notifier? The notifier is Necto's capability to set up schedule reporting, meaning users can receive emails according to a time interval that they will be set up, or according to an exception, according to an alert to their email every day, every month, every week, or at different days of the week. So we add the capability now, in addition to have attachments of PDF, image, and Excel, we added the capability of having an image of a component of the entire dashboard embedded in the email. So the user will receive an email with an image embedded inside and without the need for attachment. So this is another addition that we added to the rendering mechanism. Visual Insights, which is the main addition and the biggest addition to Necto. And the Visual Insight vision is to enable users, both power users and end users, to see problems, anomalies, underperformance and overperformance in their data that they would have seen with a lot of work, or they could have seen before in an automatic way. So the Visual Insights is divided into three parts. The revelation, which is an automated way of Necto to show the user insights. Okay, so you can connect to any data model, any cube, or any data source, and Necto will immediately show you the anomalies in the data according to a default algorithm. This algorithm, of course, can be modified by a power user. Exception-based. So if you remember Necto's exceptions, users can define exceptions, and then by clicking on a button, the end user can see these exceptions immediately and their behavior over time. And the last one is hand-picked Visual Insights, where the user can work on a grid, focus on a specific cell that interests him, throw the cell as a visual insight, and now he can focus on this specific cell and its behavior over time. So this is the Visual Insight, which is a very major and very big addition into Necto. We're going to show that from now on in all of our demos and marketing material. And now, after this background, we have another 20-25 minutes of showing these features in Necto itself. So questions so far, guys? If you have any questions, please write them in the GoToMeeting chat box, and I'll answer them. Of course, know that I'm going to show all the features in Necto, so some questions will be answered during the presentation. Any questions so far on the background, on the high-level summary? Okay. Okay, so Julian asked a very important question. In terms of licensing, if a user has Necto 15, does he get all these features as part of the upgrade? The answer is no. He gets all the features that we talked about, except the Visual Insights. Okay, so all the features are available: the ribbon, the infographics, the modeling scheduler, and of course the new rendering mechanism. but the visual insights is a separate license that you will have to add more money to receive per license. So that's an answer for that. Like it was in Necto 14, so in Necto 14, in order to receive the infographics and the notifier, the upgrades needed to add that. Now the same goes for the insights. Another question, what about the maps? Does it still needs to add on that? No change in regard to maps. The answer is yes. We are working with a third-party provider called ESRI, and in order to get to work with maps, you either need to have an ESRI on-premise license, and then you don't have to add an additional amount of money to receive the maps module. But if you don't work with any ESRI on-premise, you will have to add an additional very small amount per user to work with maps. This haven't changed. Any other general questions? Okay, so let's go ahead and move into Necto itself. And all of the functionalities that I talked about in the PowerPoint presentation, we're now going to show them in Necto itself. So starting from the layout and skin, we're going to touch on the ribbon. We'll start from the ribbon. And as I said, we have three major screens in Necto, three major parts for the application, which is the Necto control panel, or for the administrator is the management, the home page, okay, and the wallboard work area. So we'll touch on the wallboard work area last because it's the most important one. Let's start from the home page. So this is now the home page, and it has a ribbon as well. It hasn't changed in regard, again, to the functionalities. We still have the recent wallboards, favorites, relevant, and etc. We still see the different layout types that we can switch between in Necto. So that's in regard to, so the functionalities are the same. We changed a bit, as you can see, the location of these places, but the functionality is the same. Now you've got everything centered over here in this ribbon, and that's in regard to the home page. In regard to the administrative panel, same goes for that. We have a ribbon for that as well. So all of the sections now are in this nice pane. So you've got the models, the data sources, and all of the other functionalities for the admin. Up until this line, these are the functionalities for simple users: models, infographic sets, and chart templates. From here onwards, these are the capabilities of the administrator, where he can manage the wallboards, roles, and other administrative functionalities. It can be, of course, minimized, so you can, and the state is remembered. So if I go between the administration to the home page, you can see here that the pane, the ribbon is also unpinned and collapsed. And you can, of course, return it from here, and then you will see the ribbon again. So in the home page, in the wallboard, in the administrative panel, you are working now with the ribbon. In the wallboard work area, which is the most important part, you now receive the ribbon. So now let's focus on the changes between Necto, previous versions of Necto and this version of Necto with the ribbon. So you've got the general modules, which are the wallboard. If you are open on the wallboard, so now you've got the wallboards repository, recent wallboards from here, favorite wallboards. You can create a new wallboard, notifications, and the exporting and other features. Insights, which we will touch at the end of the presentation, social capabilities, analysis capabilities, and design of the wallboard, where you can add new components, and work on your scripts, actions, and parameters. Now, if we want to work on a specific component, so for instance, I want to work on this view component, clicking on that will add, as you can see here in this dark blue section, the capabilities of this view component. So working on that. So as I said before, no need anymore for the maximize mode. So to add a formula and exceptions for that, work on the layout, on the dimension selector, and etc. You can do that from the ribbon. You don't need to maximize and sometimes lose yourself between the sections. Working on the members of this component now. So that is something. Let's focus on that one. So that is something that was brought to the ribbon as well, but still we haven't removed the capability to work on the grid from the grid itself. So you have still this menu, which was very comfortable for the dimension and for every member, but you can also do the same exact functionalities from the member, from the ribbon. So that's in regard to that. If we're working on a ribbon, again, focusing a long click on a component will bring you to this component ribbon module, and you can start designing and working on that. So for instance, let's touch on the infographics, and Necto brings you to the infographic design on the map, and we've got the map design. So that's in regard to the ribbon. It is, of course, documented. And for the next question that you will ask, the properties are still there. So we've got here the properties button. You can press on the properties and work on the properties like you've been working before. So the application, wallboard properties, and all the other component properties are still existing. And that's in regard to that. Now, the maximize mode, as we said before, is not there anymore, but if you still want to focus on a component and see that in a more focused way and work on a specific component and then minimize that, you can still do that. So you've got the maximize and restore button on top of the ribbon. So if I want to maximize a component, I can press on this component, maximize, and then I can focus on this chart and work on that solely. Okay, so if you still want this functionality, it is still there. Restore, you press on the same button and it will restore to the same exact dashboard overview. So that's in regard to that. The next feature that I would like to talk about is the splitter between the components. As you can see, by default now there is a splitter between different components. The default color of that is gray. And the splitter properties, they can be controlled from the wallboard properties. So we'll add that, spin. And in the wallboard properties, you will see, let's filter, splitter. Okay, so the splitter color, the default is this one, gray, and this is its size. And you can control both the size and both the color. So you can remove that by either setting the color to the color of the canvas itself. In this case, it's white. So then you won't see the separation. But we added the separation due to graphic recommendations, and it makes the components, every component stand out, and the separation creates a nice differentiation between every component. So you can focus on every component specifically, and it doesn't blend. So that's in regard to the splitter in your skin. Moving forward, and we're staying here in the wallboard worker. So now let's create a new wallboard. Just so we'll get out of that one. Create a new wallboard with data. Let's connect to a certain data model. let's add one with a grid and chart, call it webinar, press on finish. So as you can see, the functionality stayed the same, just moved forward these capabilities. All right. So now let's talk about a few other options that we added. So in regard to analytics and navigation, as you can see, we now have on the bottom of the ribbon and the social bar, this navigation bar. This navigation bar is controlled from the design section in the ribbon, and it can be shown or hidden. And what it shows, and in the manager we can define, you can show here both your slicers. Okay, so from the slicers of this warbird, you can choose which slicers you want to put forward for your users to have the ability to slice easily instead of going to the left task pane and working from there. So for users who worked with NovaView before, that it's a bit resembled to that. So for instance, if I would like to remove that one and work with the product categories and my customer geography. Okay, so these are the ones that I want to work with. And as you can see, now they are brought forward. And the capabilities and the functionalities is exactly like with the slicer, but now it is forward. And instead of going to the slicers, which are still available for users that want to work with the slicers, you don't need that. You can unpin that, and you can work from the navigation bar over here. Now, another important note regarding that. So again, you can show that on the top, you can show that on the right, and of course, if you don't want to work, you can hide a navigation bar altogether. It is very recommended to work with this navigation bar. It brings forward the slicer, the common slicer that the users want to work with. So it is a very important model that was added into Necto 16. Now, staying in the ribbon and in analytical capabilities, one of the important additions that we added, and I talked about that in the PowerPoint presentation, is the ability to slice on a default last period. So in the Analyze, you've got here a section that is called Show Warbird for Date. For which date? Manually defined, so it is whatever you are slicing on, but you can slice by default on the last day, last week, month, quarter, and year. So if a user or a power user will choose the last day and will save that, so by default, Necto will slice the entire dashboard on the last day. So every time a warbird will be opened by an end user, it will be sliced on the last day or any other last period that will be chosen, which is a very important and a common use case for users. Now, an important note for that, it will bring you the last non-empty day. So for instance, my last non-empty day is not yesterday. It was, for instance, I have data only for up until last week. This is what will be shown. So it is not the last day, it's the last non-empty day. Okay, the last day with data in my data model. So that's in regarding to that. Okay, so that's in regard to the navigation bar. Set selection. Okay, another thing that was capability that was already existing in Necto 15 and 14. Now we brought it forward a bit closer to the user's experience. So now if a user wants to create a set from a set of members, so we can press on a few members or only on one member, and in the members menu, you will see a new functionality, a new option, create set from highlighted members. So I chose Australia and Canada, and I press on this one, and from here I can create a set. So this is a capability that we had in previous versions, but in a bit different way. Now it is much more user-friendly, so a user can do it just from the grid with no need for going into another dialog. So going over here, create set from highlighted number, and now he can reuse the set for slicing. So for instance, I will save this as a private set, give it the set name. Okay, so guys, it was a bit stuck. Let me just refresh. It gives us the option to see in the new preloader as well. Let's return to the previous dashboard that we worked on. Okay. Let's just remove that over here so we'll see a better overview of the map. And after touching on the ribbon layout, on the menu capabilities of our grid and the analytical capabilities. So just to recap that, we've got the navigation bar, sets, and in Analyze we have this feature. So that's just a quick summary of that. Now, touching on the map. So in addition to the all the visualizations that we had on the map before, like color, heat map, shape size, and etc., we can now also show charts and infographics on the map. So in the map edit designer, we can, let's just remove all the previous visualizations. You can see now a new capability to add a chart. So there are two types of charts that we can use: a pie chart or a bar chart. A pie chart is more common. You can of course design the colors of that, the size, and the transparency. Pressing on OK, and as you can see, what Necto will do, it will divide, and it will spread in the pie chart or bar chart. It doesn't matter. What you see, the members that you see on the x-axis into sections on the and visualizations in the pie chart. So for instance, every slice in this pie chart represents, in this case, the years of 2006, 7, and 8. Of course, if I drill down, if I play with them with my grid or with the map, and if I drill down from the map to the states of United States, I will see all the states of United States, and they will be spread by the years of that I have in the data. And going from every state to a city, same goes with that. Okay, so now I can see the cities of Alabama, and so on and so forth. So that's one nice addition that was added to the map: the ability to show grid, the ability to the ability to show charts, pie charts, and bar charts. Another capability is now showing infographics. So if we are now adding an infographic to the grid visuals, and we'll add either one of the Necto's default visuals or any visual that we will create by ourselves. So let's do one of these. Okay, so we added these visuals to the grid. Now in the map, pressing on the map, we can add. You can see here infographics. Let's remove the chart. So you can see wherever it is available, wherever we have the data, we'll see also the infographic. Drilling from United States. Okay, so you see the same infographic. In this case, it's just arrows. You can see them on the map as well. So that's in regard to these additions. Let's move forward to the modeling section. Okay, let's enter one model. open that one. Okay, so we've got this data model, and an addition that we added, and it is available, just a reminder, only for admins, is this UI. So I can look for data updates, server defined, just to remind you, is every 2 hours or according to the publishing of manual publishing of a user defined, so we can set it up, or scheduled. So now changing that to scheduled, we can set up a daily publish, a daily deploy or publish, it's the same term, a monthly publish, or weekly, on which days of the week we will publish this model. Now, so after setting up this, let's say, daily publish, every day, for every model that will set up this publish, Necto will automatically publish this model, and all the users will enjoy the latest version of that. Now, we will be adding in the service pack also an hourly interval of publishing the model, and then users can also enjoy a more increment interval of that. Now, for your next question, if I'm setting up a daily or a weekly publish, on what time it will occur. So on what time it will occur, this is a setting that we've got in the administration, in Necto settings. So you'll see over here, check model schedule at this time. So as you can see, all the models will be scheduled. All the models will be scheduled on this exact time. So whether I've set it up daily or in different times of the week, I can set up the time. So for instance, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., all the models will be published. And then for the entire day, you will have deployed data models exactly like an analysis services queue. Okay, so let's run forward. We'll have another 5 minutes for the next module. So the next module, and it's the most important, the biggest addition to Necto 16, is the visual insight. As I said, we divide the visual insights into 3 sections: automated, exception-based, and handpicked. So let's start with the automated. The automated can work in 2 modes. One, I just connect to a cube. Okay, so let's find insights. I connect to a data model or a cube, and Necto will find me insights automatically. So for instance, let's use a data model that we pre-prepared, Enterprise Data Mart, press on save. Okay, let's give it a name. We're actually creating a workboard with insights. And what Necto will do, it will go to this data model or a cube or any other data source, and will find anomalies in the data. Anomalies according to the default algorithm that we are defining. So the default algorithm that we define is to look for decreases or increases between the last period to the previous period. Okay? And you can see it pinpoints the data and shows you the behavior of that. Okay, so it pinpoints the exact place in the data where I had the problem, the underperformance or overperformance. I can see here the actual performance, the actual sales, or any other measure that I will choose. The decrease between the current period to the previous period. The behavior. This is a microchart that shows the behavior of this this point in the data over the last 12 periods. Okay, and will show me up to whatever number of insights that I will choose. So here I'm choosing a maximum to show 12 insights. I can show more, I can show less. So let's show 20 insights, and it will show me 20 anomalies in the data. Okay, so now I'm seeing 20 problems. So these are problems that the user need to take a look at, need to focus, and know that he has a problem. And so because of lack of time, we're not going to deep dive into all the algorithms that we have, but just generally speaking. So we've got here more than 19 algorithms. So you can multiply every one of these by 2. So ratio, talking about periods, ratio, difference from the previous or parallel period, a ratio to prediction, a difference from prediction, a ratio between 2 values, and then you can compare actual to budget, just looking for top or bottom values, and so on and so forth. So a power user can also define the automated way of finding insights, and that's in regard to the first way of finding insight. A second way, which I'll show quickly, let's switch to show on the grid, is if you're working on a grid and you want to focus on a specific cell, you now have this capability of add an insight, and now you can focus on this cell. Necto will throw this specific coordinate to the to your component. So for instance, let's add another one. And you can see this in specific cell, its behavior and how it reacts to the previous period. So, and this way you can also work, and you can also drill into data. So even if the data will change, so for instance something like that, you will have the capability, the end user will have the capability to go from this insight, okay, into the data itself. So for instance, you can do something like that, drill to data, and Necto will show this specific data in your grid. So you can play between the analysis using the visual insights as well. The third one, and with that we'll finish for today, and we'll leave a couple of minutes for questions, is exception-based. So opening the dashboard that you've seen in the beginning, as you defined exceptions before, users can define different exceptions. And for your end users, so when your end users will, so we know we defined exceptions on this inventory analysis chart. So if I press on this component, okay, so pressing on this component, I would like to see exception-based insights. Necto will find the exceptions that I found, the cell exceptions that I defined in this in the grid behind this chart, and from all of this complicated analysis, we'll pinpoint to the products. In this case, the products that we have problems in the inventory with. So Necto will go over the data, will show me the problematic products, and of course will show me the behavior of this product over time. So now, and just let's show quickly so you can see how it works, show insights and grid. So you can see here the exceptions, and Necto filtered me on the exceptions. Now I can also use the slider to filter on to see less exceptions or more exceptions according to the value that I've got over here. So these grid exceptions correlate to the visual insights exceptions and can bubble up the problematic values in a very fast and user-friendly way. So guys, we have very little time for questions. We have actually, guys, we do not have time for questions now. So if you have any questions, if you want to receive the recording of this session and other material like documentation, hands-on exercise, and etc., as I said before in my PowerPoint presentation, you're more than welcome to send all the questions and requests to this email, and you will receive a reply with the recording and all of the other supporting material as well. So guys, sorry that we finished a bit sooner. It's just other requirements, other webinars that we need to do. I hope to see you in the later webinars, and thank you very much for the time.